بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مع الله في لألآت النجوم وحبك الغيوم وضوء القمر، مع الله عند هزيم الرعود ولمع البروق ودفق المطر.
مع الله في لألآت النجوم وحبك الغيوم وضوء القمر، مع الله عند هزيم الرعود ولمع البروق ودفق المطر.
To produce food anywhere in the world at any time of the year and to net higher yield with fewer resources.
Grow anywhere using hydroponics. We can create hyper-local food systems. It's even possible to put a farm directly behind restaurants that want ultra-fresh produce. Higher yields, plants grown in well-managed hydroponic systems are living good lives. Since foods are rich in all the nutrients they need, hydro plants can mature up to 25% more quickly than the same plants grown itself with increased crop yield.
Fewer resources hydroponic systems actually use less water than traditional soil-based systems. The water used in hydroponic systems can be filtered and is constantly being recycled instead of wasted. Indoor hydroponic plants don't need any pesticides and other potentially harmful chemicals. As there is no soil, there is no chance of insect and weeds. What do you need? Fresh water with a pH level around 6 to 6.5, oxygen. You will need to oxygenate your container, which you can accomplish by buying an air stone or installing an air pump. You also need root support, even though you don't need soil. The plant's roots still need a little something to hold on to. Typical materials include peat moss, coconut fiber, and rock. Nutrients-rich plants are going to need plenty of magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, and other nutrients regularly. Just like plant growing in the ground with healthy soil and fertilizer. This purpose is served by providing nutrients to plants. Light. If you are growing your plants indoors, you might have to invest in some special lighting. Each type of plant will have a different requirement for the amount of light it needs. In this model, we are going to demonstrate how the hydroponic farming system works.
There is a nutrient water source in the base. A motor is installed here, which takes the water to the top level of the system. Then water is down due to gravity to lower levels without consuming any energy.
It involves less resources and more yields. This current system is going to revolutionize future agriculture and the increasing food requirements, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Today we will explain about the Renewable, the rain harvesting method and its important. Yes, you heard it right. There are Bermuda roofs too, other than the Bermuda Triangle. This process is very simple. It simply involves collecting water from surfaces like rooftops and storing this water for irrigation. The rainwater can also be used for drinking purposes, but after proper filtration. It can also be used for long-term storage and for many other purposes such as groundwater recharge. There are a few steps in water harvesting. My student Alhud will explain them.
Bermuda roof are built with Bermuda limestone transformed as slate and is simply a product of original slate. These laid in a stuck fashion over a wooden frame with a stone pattern near the end of the roof. The water goes into the pipe and then to the rainwater tanks and this is like a model of an example of Bermuda roof.
This rainwater pipe is attached that runs along the perimeter of the Bermuda roof, which collects the rainwater runoff from the roof and discharges it. Did you know that the gutter pipe comes in different shapes and sizes? For example, box gutter, square gutter, fascia gutter, and round gutter. As you can see, the rainwater coming through the gutter pipe is collected and diverted into storage barrels. This water can be used for different purposes, for example, gardening and car wash. In rural areas, people also use this water for dishwashing and laundry as well.
Did you know that there are 6,000 gallons of water right out from here too? Then it goes to the streams, and then to the seawater. Do you know that rainwater harvesting is also a practice of collecting and storing water for later consumption and for a variety of different purposes? Stormwater harvesting differs from rainwater harvesting as it collects water from rooftops rather than drains or roads. And this time the process can be from roofs if not others Water is one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's great blessings, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, وَالَّذِي نَزَّلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً بِقَدَرٍ فَأَحْيَيْنَا بِهِ بَلْدَةً مَيْتًا كَذَلِكَ نُخْرِجُ And who shall send rainwater from sky in measured amount, and we will thereby abundantly land. Thus, for you to draw forth Surah Zukhruf verse 11. The water is the sacred gift flows from all living things. And the first one is to the man. Water is for common good, and we should use it wisely and justly. And in one hadith, our Lord Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said, "Do not waste water, even if you are in a running river of water."
And another thing, in areas where rainwater is costly or difficult to attain, rainwater can become a vital source of clean water. When a drought occurs, rainwater stored previously can be used. Lastly, owing to its cost-effectiveness and eco-friendliness, rainwater harvesting is a widely applicable solution for developing countries facing poverty in their regions. Jazakallahu khairan for listening to our presentation. Hope you learned something new.
Are you feeling tired? You're thirsty? You know who am I? I'm a water drop. Soul of your life, vessel of this world. Can you imagine life without me? You cannot. Obviously, survival without me is not all possible for anyone. You can survive without food for a few days, but cannot survive without water. As we all know that 97% water is the salty ocean water and 2% water is in the form of glaciers and polar ice caps, and only 1% water is available to drink. Yes, you heard me right, only 1% water is available to drink. Save it for yourself and for the 50 generations. Every single drop counts.
Welcome to our vintage lab. Our project theme is waste wise. We are here to share our wonderful ideas to create awareness regarding how we can manage our waste wisely. We can manage our waste either by recycling or upcycling different old stuff. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Quran, Surah Al-A'raf, verse 31. يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. O children of Adam, wear your beautiful apparel at every time, near place of prayer. Eat and drink, but waste not by excess, for Allah loves not the waste.
As you can see, our project is based on recycling and upcycling. Recycling is the process of collecting, separating, and converting waste materials into new materials and objects, whereas upcycling is referred as creative recycling. It is an activity of taking an item that will otherwise be waste or improving it in some way to make it useful again.
You must be thinking, what should be recycled? It takes too much effort and resulted to recycle or upcycle this. Why not buy a new one? Let me share some facts with you. Recycling a simple plastic bottle will create enough insulating power to power a light bulb for 3 hours more. Recycling 5 plastic bottles will create enough insulating fiber to fill a ski jacket. It takes 70% less energy to recycle paper than it does to make it new from raw materials. So reusing and repackaging instead of buying new one is not a sign of poverty, it's a sign of power. That reminding us a lifestyle of our beloved Prophet ﷺ. You know, he used to wear his own shoes. Do you know he used to wear his own shoes, sew his clothes, and carry out such household without any complaint or on for more. Got some personal benefits in upcycling too. Nothing beats that warm and fuzzy feeling you get inside when you have done something great for planet.
The environmental benefits of upcycling
Planet. Remaining inactive and giving it a new life is a great skill. Whether you are upcycling things yourself or buying products from designer, it's always nice to know that you have something that is completely unique.
The environmental benefits of upcycling are amazing. Aside from minimizing the volume of discarded material and waste being sent to landfill each year, it also reduces the need of production by using new or raw material, which means reduction in air pollution, water pollution, greenhouse gas emission, and often a conservation of global resources.
So by upcycling, we have figures from landfill and make very food stuff from food stuff. Plenty of items that were once in have been recycled because they were creative items. Now I know we should not always have to buy things, rather we can try to recycle or upcycle existing resources, moreover avoid doing things. Did you know that it takes 2,700 liters to produce the sodium used to make a single t-shirt? Some benefits of recycling are recycling saves energy. It takes much more energy to generate things with raw materials as compared to second-use materials. This means that we can save energy and the prices of the items can be compositing and recycling. More than 85 bags, tons of MSW can sell more than 1.3 quadrants of PDC, which is 40 million behind barrels of oil. Wow, that's massive. Recycling also generates jobs and employed to sort, work, and collect in these helping companies. Other people get jobs with businesses that are used to work with these recycling units.
And also I like these presentations. These two have a decided project. These are recycling and upcycling strategies widely.
We have divided our projects into two different categories. One is recycling and the other is upcycling. Recycling is the process of collecting, separating and converting waste materials into new materials and objects, whereas upcycling is referred as creative recycling. It is an activity of taking an item that would otherwise be waste or improving it in some way to make it useful.
You must be thinking, why should we recycle? It takes too much effort and energy to recycle or upcycle waste. Why not buy a new one? Let me share some facts with you. Recycling a simple plastic bottle will save enough energy to power a light of a 3-hour work. Recycling 5 plastic bottles will create enough insulating fiber to fill a refrigerator. It takes 70% less energy to recycle paper than it makes to new from raw materials. So reusing and repairing things instead of buying new one is not a sign of poverty, it's a sign of power.
Thanks for coming to AIEx. Parents, there is no decision of one experience. Research that you also include its treatment. Plant harvesting practices and we are very new too. You'll be amazed to know the advantages of indoor plants.
There are several advantages of aloe vera plant. It contains helpful plant compound. It has antioxidant and antibacterial properties. It speeds up the process of wound healing and it reduces dental plaque. It helps treat diseases like canker sores. Do you know what canker is? Canker sores, also called ulcers, are small shallow lesions that develop on the soft tissues in your mouth or at the base of your gum. It reduces constipation and it also improves skin and prevents wrinkles. Aloe vera are succulents, so they store water in their leaves. It is important not to overwater them. Make sure you water the top few centimeters of compost to dry out between watering.
There are almost 7 types of plants. Many household plants are strategically placed for decoration. But did you know that some of these plants also have health benefits? The snake plant is one of those plants known for both looking good and improving air quality. In addition to provide a bit of ambience, snake plants have a number of health benefits including it filters indoor air, removes toxic pollutants, may help boost mental health, it is easier to take care of and effective against allergies.
Snake plants don't need much water, just water whenever the soil is dry. Make sure you let the water drain away. Don't let the plants sit in water. As this may cause the roots to grow. Snake plants need very little water in winter. These indoor plants are very easy to find in Pakistan. Just started seeing them. And as a beginner, they are easy to take care of. Also, the most popular house plants are baby and nature. Chinese are the father of Mahatma, which place them much and where in
Assalamualaikum. My name is Islamabad. I'm from An eco-friendly house is a house that respects the environment, is made from non-toxic materials, is energy efficient for its construction and use. We will be guiding you about rooftop gardening, roof installation and ventilation.
Green roofs are a terrific idea to reduce heat inside roofs. Green vegetation on a roof is aesthetically appealing and absorbs stormwater runoff.
Rooftop garden assists in reducing and filtering polluted air. Roof provide good insulation, keeping the bedroom cool in the summer and warm in the winter. This reduces faculty of heating and cooling costs. Insulation helps to keep the desired temperature in the building. It acts as a barrier to heat loss and heating. Home insulation is essential for anyone who wants to keep their energy costs down and protect the planet. If you want to limit your carbon footprint, you have to think about building eco-friendly homes. These materials are primarily made of recycled material. In comparison, materials like fiberglass may only contain up to 30% recycled material. Ventilation. The flow of renewable water is important in this project. And to avoid humidity and dampness with the hole, it is advisable to install a controlled mechanical ventilation system to avoid submersion. Isn't it interesting to know that people living in eco-homes are much healthier than living in houses that use fewer chemicals and the constructional progressive reduces asthma and respiratory disorders. Choice of flooring like wood and red oxide is not only eco-friendly but health-wise.
Allah said, surely every one of you is a guardian and is responsible for its organization. The Imam, ruler of the people, is a guardian and he is responsible for its subject. The man is the guardian of the family and is responsible for its
I'll break this house soon. I'll break
woman is
this
the guardian of her husband home and is the children school responsible for it.
I want to get this.
And the slave of the man is the guardian of the master property. The guardian and responsible for it.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from grade 4G and we welcome you to project display to share some facts about green drills. What does green drills mean?
Green grills simply mean grilling equipment that is fuel efficient and durable, and those that can be used for renewable energy such as solar panels. You may also consider electric grills or natural gas.
Avoid petroleum-based lighting fluids and self-lighting charcoal. These release better chemicals into the atmosphere. Instead, use solar panel-based gas. Switch to natural gas. You may also use natural gas option in grills. The natural gas is the cleanest fossil fuel and burns much cleaner than coal grills. Clean your grills regularly. The grease and food particles on your grill produce unnecessary smoke.
Can access fats from meat. It will not only make your grilling healthier and reduce flare-ups, but also reduce the release of harmful chemicals from the air. Avoid disposable dishes and utensils for your next cookout. A few minute washing dishes is better than a pile of paper plates and plastic forks in the garbage.
Buy fresh meat and vegetables. Try to have your meal without unpacking all that stuff sold in stores.
All what we have, eat coffee or juice after burger. We must prefer fresh milk or juices instead of Tetra Pak or soda, so we can make our milk as we will. While winding up, make sure to clean the area. Use mineral food as natural fertilizer, so mix it in the soil. Use paper bags instead of plastic bags. These are enough. Now let's find out what causes acid rain. Power plants that release the majority of sulfur dioxide and much of the nitrogen oxide when they burn fossil fuels, such as coal to produce electricity. Calcium carbonate react with hydrochloric acid to form calcium chloride, carbon dioxide, and water. Acid turns into silver into brown. Similarly, in acid rain, when nitrogen dioxide reacts with water to produce nitric acid, acid turns into silver into brown. In addition, the exhaust from car, buses, and trucks releases nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide into the air. These pollutants cause acid rain. Acid rain is where damaging to all life forms. It can damage. It can pollute living the fish and other organisms that live in it. Acid rain also damages various kinds of vegetation, including farm, crops, and trees. The biggest step that they can take to prevent acid rain is to decrease their energy consumption. Close the light when you leave the room and turn off computers and television when you are not watching them. Whenever you are not using any electrical appliance, simply shut it off to conserve energy. Because cars are a major contributor of acid rain pollution, it's important to find an alternate mode of transportation in an effort to decrease our reliance on fossil fuels. An excellent way to prevent acid rain is to stop using non-renewable fuels and switch over to renewable sources of energy such as solar, wind and water energy. As the technology for all this alternative energy increases, they will become more accessible to the public. And what has seen the rain from the sky and will wipe thereby into the earth after its lifelessness. Indeed, it is a sign for people who listen. It's an eye of the Quran, Para 16, Ayat 65. Allah talks about how He creates land for water and sustains it by streams, a rain, river, and oceans that are almost so many. Allah here uses the analogy of life and death for Muslims to recognize the value of water, reminding us to provide clean water for all. Our aim is to educate and create awareness of acid rain, its cause, effects, and solutions. Especially as Muslims, we have to utilize the earth responsibly for our benefit. Honestly maintain and preserve it. Use it considerately, moderately, and pass it on to future generations in an excellent condition. Jazakallah khair for joining us. We are honored to have your presence with us today.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to AIEx 2022. Well, you know we get some facts about greenhouse effect. And guess what? I am so grateful for everything. Do you know what is greenhouse effect?
Let me tell you, some of the infrared radiation from the sun passes to the atmosphere, but most is absorbed and re-emitted in all directions, starting with gas molecules and clouds. This one is the Earth's surface and the low atmosphere.
I am sure you have good knowledge about the temperature. By the way, why does the temperature drop in such areas?
Temperature drop due to vegetation and forest. Temperature near forest areas will be lowest and gradually, if you go further, it will start rising. This is because of greenhouse effect.
How does a greenhouse work?
A greenhouse uses glass or plastic sheeting to allow light rays from the sun to enter the structure where they are absorbed by the plants and then it is converted to heat. When the plant releases the heat energy, it is trapped by the glass and the greenhouse stays warm.
How are greenhouse gases affecting the Earth's atmosphere?
Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere allow some infrared radiation and be reflected back to Earth. This causes greenhouse effect and results in an increase in average mean temperature on Earth.
That's why to enjoy in such places is not cool but also sight to watch. This would be useful and also help to reduce global warming.
Fun fact, do you know Venus is hotter than Mercury because it has much more thicker atmosphere. The heat the atmosphere trap is called greenhouse effect.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أمن خلق السماوات والأرض وأنزل لكم من السماء ماء فأنبتنا به حدائق ذات بهجة ما كان لكم أن تنبتوا شجرها أإله مع الله بل هم قوم يعدلون. More precisely, is it not best to create the heavens and the earth and send down for rain from the sky, causing to grow thereby gardens of joyful which you could not otherwise have grown the trees thereof? Is there a deity with Allah? No, but there are some people who ascribe equals to Him.
I hope you have understood about the greenhouse effect and enjoyed the presentation. Jazakallah for visiting us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to AlHuda International Islamic Exhibition 2022. Our project is based on the comparison between a normal and healthy lung and with lungs affected by pollution. As we know, we have two lungs, each located on each side of our chest. They are one of the major organs of the respiratory system. The function of respiratory system is to inhale oxygen and exhale waste gases.
Air enters into our mouth and nose. Then the air passes through trachea into left and right bronchi. From bronchi it touches air sacs called alveoli through bronchioles. Oxygen moves across the walls of alveoli and is picked by the hemoglobin in blood and carried to the rest of the body.
On the other hand, carbon dioxide passes from the blood to the alveoli through the same passage of bronchi and trachea, blown out of the body.
Air pollution is caused when solid, liquid particles and certain gases end up in our air. It can be by the dust of unpaved roads, constructed sites, vehicle exhaust, power plant, burning of fossil fuels, wood and cigarette smoke.
Smallest particles, microbes and prolonged exposure to poisonous materials and fuels can cause swelling, inflammation and permanent breakdown of lung tissue. Alveoli and bronchi result in asthma, pneumonia, cancer and other diseases.
Clean air is important to all of us. Improving our air quality will bring health. Invest in energy, efficient power generation, improve domestic industry and renewable waste management to make greener, more compact cities with energy efficient buildings. We should also reduce agricultural waste, forest fires, and certain agroforestry activities. Universal access to clean and affordable fuels and technologies should be provided for cooking, heating, and lighting. Cycle-friendly networks should be introduced. Allah says in the Quran, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Inna kulla shay'in khalaqnahu biqadar. Verily, all things we have created in proportion and measure. Allah has created this world with intricacy, making it completely perfect. This serves as a timely reminder to those who are changing the perfect world created by Allah through their activities. Jazakallah.
Today me and my classmates will explain about our project, the rain harvesting method and its importance. Yes, you heard it right. They are Bermuda, two other than Bermuda Triangle. This process is very simple. It simply involves collecting water from the surface where the rain falls and storing this water for later use.
The rainwater is collected from the roof of buildings and stored in rainwater tanks. Rainwater harvesting is a common process or technology used to conserve rainwater by collecting, storing and conveying rainwater from rooftops, parks and open grounds for later use.
Did you know that this method also used for drinking, but after it can also be used for cultivars and other purposes such as groundwater recharge. The fellowship is
Bermuda roof harvest from Bermuda lands which has no nesting and is intended for agricultural use. Please take in the step fashion over a bullet point system wherever the end of the roof to the front of the water channel pipe and into the water storage. The main has a model of an example of Bermuda rooftop.
As you can see, the rain cutter is joined along the perimeter of Bermuda roof, which collects the rainwater and collects it and stores it for later use in underground and above tanks. These rain gutters come in different shapes and sizes, such as round gutter, fascia gutter, box gutter, and square gutters.
As you can see, the rainwater is coming to the roof gutter in underground tanks and in above ground in harvesting tanks. Now the water is collected and people use it for different purposes. For example, car washing, and in rural areas, people use it for dishwashing as well.
Did you know about 60,000 gallons of water run up from your roof goes into your streams and then into seawater? Do you know that rainwater harvesting is a practice of collecting and storing rainwater for a later consumption of a variety of different purposes? Rainwater harvesting differs from stormwater harvesting as it is collected from the roof rather than drains and roads.
I am really thinking of saving water next time when it rains, as the process is very easy and cost-friendly. But always remember, the water collected from rainwater harvesting is not always suitable for human consumption. It requires a proper and special filtration if intended to be used for cooking and drinking. If not filtrated or properly filtrated, there are many several diseases it can cause. Innovations in new technology in the design of collection devices have greatly increased the efficiency with which rainwater is collected.
Yes, you are right. Nobody will drink this water before proper filtration. I want to take some benefits out of it. While rainwater harvesting provides the best possible alternative source of water where water sources are depleted arid, the solution not only caters the domestic need, but it also significantly decreases labor movement in rural areas. The method also mitigates low-lying areas and decreases demand for well water, ultimately restoring and groundwater reserves.
And one more thing, in areas where rainwater is difficult and costly to attain, rainwater can become a vital source of clean water for them. When a drought occurs, the rainwater stored previously can be used. And lastly, owing to its eco-friendliness and cost-friendliness, rainwater can become an appropriate worldwide solution for countries facing poverty in their regions.
Water is one of the great blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says in Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كذلك تخرجون. And who sends down rain from the sky in great amounts, and we will reward their by that land. Thus will you be brought forth. Dear students, water is a sacred gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all living beings. And first to a man, water is for the common good, and we should use it wisely and justly. And one hadith of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not waste water, even if you are in a river of water.
Now I will tell you some benefits of rainwater harvesting. Number 1, helps in reducing water bill. Number 2, decreases the demand for water. Number 3, reduces the need for imported water. Number 4, promotes close water and energy conservation. And lastly, number 5, improves the quality and quantity of groundwater. Jazakallah khair for listening to our presentation.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to AIEx 2022. Do you want to help the planet? Of course, everyone wants to help the planet, right? Do we recycle food? If not, I will tell you how to keep the garbage out. Not all trash is garbage. Plant scraps, fruit and vegetable scraps and peels, paper or other organic materials can be used to make compost.
Have you ever thought about what kind of food goes when you throw it in trash, or the consequences that this has for our planet?
Compost is a lot of organisms like bacteria, small animals that help to do what is evil and has to compost. These organisms breathe oxygen, so the compost needs air to help it decompose. For this, we have drilled holes in the side of the barrel to add air to the compost. This speeds up the process of breaking down the waste. We have used PVC pipes to make a compost mixed with pins. We have added a crank handle to the barrel so it is easier to move the barrel when it is full of compost.
Compost tumbler is a simple machine that can be used to make compost. It is a mixture of vegetables and organic waste. We've used a recycled green barrel. We've also used 2 expense to support an axle that turns to the center of the barrel. This allows the compost tumbler to spin and mix the compost. We've used PVC pads for the axle. The axle is run throughout the center of the barrel and resting on our frames. We've used rings and nuts to attach hinges. These hinges allow us to open and close the latch to access the compost.
Composting is an eco-friendly alternative to throwing out food in landfills. In landfills, bacteria break down food scraps and other organic materials in the absence of oxygen, which produces methane gas, a greenhouse gas. Even with a greater capacity to result in global warming, a threat to the earth.
Composting is an eco-friendly alternative to discarding our food waste with 3 important advantages.
First, composting allows food scrap to degrade in the presence of oxygen, meaning no methane gas is produced. Second, breaking down biodegradable materials to produce organic fertilizer, a sustainable alternative to synthetic fertilizer that require a high amount of fossil fuel and energy to be produced. Third, composting diverts waste from landfills, preserving natural ecosystem that would otherwise be cleared from the landfill use. And the best part is that you can compost it in your own backyard.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to Grade 3F. My name is Noor Fatma and today we will show you the future of living sustainably. As you know, there are many environmental concerns on the rise and sustainability. Living style is leading the future of home design. What's special about Earthship is that it considers all aspects of home design, from using recycled tires for major walls and old glass bottles and tin cans for the interior partitions.
These recycled and locally sourced material create thermal mass, naturally regulating the internal temperature of the home without conventional heating and cooling technologies. Oftentimes, these structures are built partly into the ground and sometimes underground, to further regulating the internal temperature.
Homes are also passive solar structures. This means that they utilize as much energy and heat from the sun as possible without using electrical mechanisms. This is typically done by building the south-facing wall completely of glass, letting in as much light and heat as possible.
Solar panels and wind turbines are installed on or around the structure to charge the batteries inside the power module of the home, generating its own electricity. Water is used to the full and collected directly from the surrounding environment. A collection system directs all the water from the roof into a system where it is fed into a water organization module referred to as a room.
The home serves to filter and clean the water after it is suitable for use. The water is first used for washing, bathing, and drinking. This used grey water is then filtered and used again to flush toilets and water plants. The toilet water goes to a conventional septic tank which overflows into an exterior botanical cell filled with exterior. Every drop of water that lands on Earthship roof is used 4 times so homes can survive without taking water from the ground or municipal sources.
Now you must be wondering where the idea of Earthship originated from. Earthship first came to be in the 1970s during the energy crisis. Architect Mike Reynolds designed his first Earthship to create a home that was sustainable, self-sufficient, and accessible for anyone to build from local and recycled materials.
I hope that our project has inspired you to build something out of scrap material and repurpose it to reduce the amount of waste materials that are harmful for our environment. Especially as a Muslim, we have to utilize the earth responsibly for our benefit, honestly maintain and preserve it, use it considerately and moderately, and pass it on to the future generations in an excellent condition. This includes the appreciation of its beauty and handling it over in a way that realizes the greatness of Allah.
Use of natural resources and waste minimization. Allah says in Quran, eat and drink but not waste water.
وحك الغيوم وضوء القمر
مع الله عند
هزيم الرعود
ولمع البروق ودفء المطار.
The project is going to share some facts about given green grills. What does green grills mean? Green grills simply mean grilling equipment that is fuel efficient and durable, and those that can be used for renewable energy such as solar panels. You may also consider electric grills or natural gas.
A white petroleum-based lighter fluids and catching charcoal. These release petrochemical into the atmosphere instead of solar panel-based grills.
Switch to natural gas. We can also use the natural gas option in grills because natural gas is the cleanest fossil fuel and burns much cleaner than coal grill. Clean your grill regularly. Getting grease and food particles on your grill will reduce unnecessary fat from meat,
Which will not only make your grill healthy but also reduce your and release harmful chemicals from there. Avoid disposable dishes and utensils for next food out. A few minutes washing is better than a pile of paper, plates and plastic falling in the garbage.
Taking all that stuff sold in stores.
We all want to have a cup of tea, coffee or juice after dinner. We must prefer fresh milk or juices instead of Tetra or sodas so we can make a good healthy grill. Make sure to clean the area. Use remains of food as natural fertilizer. Throw or mix it in the soil. Use paper bags instead of plastic bags.
البروق ودفق المطار مع الله في لألآت النجوم وحك الغيوم وضوء القمر مع الله عند هزيم الرعود ولمع البروق ودفق المطار مع الله في لألآت النجوم وحك الغيوم وضوء
And welcome to Grade 4A. My name is Fatma Osama and today we will show you the working model of acid rain, which is one of the consequences of air pollution. We will tell you what is acid rain. Acid rain is a form of air pollution. When coal and petroleum are burned in automobiles, electric power plants and factories, they release certain harmful gases into the air. These gases combine with the oxygen and water in the air. When the water in the air comes down as rain, it carries with it these dangerous gases in the form of acid. This is known as acid rain. Let's find out what causes acid rain. Power plants that release the majority of sulfur dioxide and much of the nitrogen oxide when they burn fossil fuels, such as coal to produce electricity. Calcium carbonate reacts with acidic acid to produce calcium carbonate, carbon dioxide, and water. Acid turns litmus paper into brown. Similarly, in acid rain, when nitrogen dioxide reacts with water to produce nitric acid, acid turns litmus paper into brown. In addition, the exhaust from cars, trucks, and buses releases the nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide into the air. These pollutants cause acid rain. Acid rain is very damaging to all life forms. It can pollute lakes and streams, killing fishes and other organisms that live in them. Acid rain also damages various kinds of vegetation, including farm crops and trees. In addition, acid rain corrodes or wears away surfaces of buildings or other structure. The biggest step that you can take to prevent acid rain is to decrease your energy consumption. Close the lights when you leave the room and turn off computers and television when you are not using them. Whenever you are not using an electrical appliance, simply shut it off to conserve energy. Transportation, because cars are a major contribution to acid rain pollution, it's important to add alternate modes of transportation in an effort to decrease our reliance on fossil alternative fuels. An excellent way to prevent acid rain is to stop using non-renewable fuels and switch over to renewable sources such as solar, wind and water energy. As technology for these alternative energies increases, they will become more accessible to the public. Send down in the sky and realize elevated to earth after its life process. Indeed, they designed for people to listen. Allah talks about how He creates life and water and then sustains its life changes. conveys a rich emotion that harms for so many. Allah uses analog of life and death for Muslims to recognize the earth, reminding us to provide clean water for all. Is to educate and create awareness of acid rain and its cause, effects, and solutions. Especially as Muslims, we have to utilize the earth responsibly for our benefit. Honestly maintain and preserve it, use it considerately and moderately, and pass it on to the future generation in an excellent condition. Jazakallah khair for joining us. We are honored to have your presence with us.
وحك الغيوم وضوء القمر والله عند هزيم الرعود.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to AIEx 2022. Welcome to AlHuda International Islamic Exhibition. Our project is about making eco-friendly paper.
Do you know how Muslims started using and making paper?
Muslims encountered paper when Arab armies conquered Central Asia in the 8th century. They instantly saw its practicality and a paper mill was set up in Baghdad. At the same time, paper spread to Persia, Syria, North Africa, and finally to Spain in the 10th century.
The Arabs learned the paper making from the Chinese prisoners and built the first paper industry in Baghdad in 793 AD. They too kept it a secret, and Europeans did not know how to make a paper until several centuries later. The Egyptians learned the paper making from the Arabs during the early 10th century.
The production of handmade paper is still in the range of South Asian countries such as India and Nepal. These axes are different for its unique strength and durability, and most importantly, it's eco-friendly. The production of the paper is made from natural fiber and does not contain the sacrifice of trees or the use of chemicals. Today we will show you how to remake paper with already used paper.
Use paper into bits and soak it in water. Then we blend it with a hand blender into pulp. Then we will take some of this pulp and add it in this water in which we have already added some paint. Then we will take a sieve and dunk it in the water so all the pulp will assemble at the bottom. We will let the water strain out. Then we will take a sponge and pat it gently from the bottom. Then we will hair dry it and then put it in front of the heater. We can also sun dry it, but the sun sometimes leaves, so the sun's heat sometimes leaves cracks on the paper like this. But so we use that heater. These are some bookmarks. If you want to buy it, come here.
مع الله في لألآت النجوم وحبك الغيوم وضوء.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Assalamu alaikum, respected guests. Welcome to AIEx, AlHuda Islamic Exhibition. Our project of this year is Growth Today is an investment for tomorrow. As we know, fuel resources and gases, not only in Pakistan but in the whole world, are quite limiting. Even wasting them a lot. So our project is to save electric resources today so they can benefit it from tomorrow. Not for those people who cannot afford heaters in ranges to heat underwater. This is for those areas as well where the facility is not available or the areas which usually face cold. So today we are going to need a water using solar energy. For this we need first a solar panel, second a battery of 250 to 300 watts, third an inverter, fourth a kettle. It takes 3 minutes to make half a liter of water. That consumes around 24 hours of power. What hours is not the same as what's totally increased.
Now comes the battery step. Once charged, it can be used even at night to warm the water and have a hot cup of coffee. We need to attach a plug which will be operated to solar energy turned into electrical energy. Now simply switch it on and the kettle is working on solar energy.
وسخر لكم الشمس والقمر دائبين وسخر لكم الليل والنهار. And he subjected for you the sun and the moon continuous. And he subjected for you the night and the day.
Allah has made everything for us. It is up to us to utilize these things to the best of their use. Jazakallahu khairan kaseera for giving us your precious time. Allah Hafiz.
مع الله في وحي قرآنه مع الله في آيه وسور مع الله في قصص الأولين وفي قصص الأولين العبر
مع الله في لألآت النجوم وحك الغيوم وضوء القمر مع الله.
Welcome to AIEx 2022. Our display is about smog. Smog is a visible air cell consisting of tiny water droplets or ice suspended in the air at or near the Earth's surface. Smog is air pollution that reduces visibility. The term smog was first used in early 90s to describe a mix of smoke and fog. This smoke usually came from burning coal. Smog was common in industrial areas and remains a familiar sight in big cities today.
Why is smoke called smog? The expression smog was first used in the turn of the century, meant to describe a combination of smoke and fog. Smog occurred when water vapor in the air condensed on small particles of soot in the air, forming small smoke droplets. Thousands of Londoners died of pneumonia-like diseases due to the poisonous air.
I'm going to tell you about using coal as fuel. The use of coal as fuel in heating or power producing plants discharges high concentration of sulfur oxides in the atmosphere. Burning coal also generates significant amount of smoke which leads to smoggy environments. Vehicular and industrial emissions. Emissions from the transportation sector resulting from fossil fuel combustion in cars, trucks, buses, motorbikes and boats are the chief contributors of smoke formation. Most of the smoke formed in large cities is a result of heavy traffic. Burning of agricultural material. In some countries, the burning of agricultural field can also contribute to the smoke problem. For instance, to get rid of old crop and waste material generated from farming practices. Farmers often burn it since it is a convenient way to do so.
Assalamualaikum. I will tell you how smog is affecting human health. The coughing, allergies and irritation of the eye, chest, nose and throat, breathing difficulties and lung damage, premature deaths because of respiratory and cancer diseases.
The risk of developing rickets, risks of road accidents or even plane crash.
Let's see some well-known solutions to smog pollution. 1. Opting for renewable energy. 2. Reducing and managing the vehicular and industrial emissions. 3. Increasing energy efficiency and managing energy. 4. 3 R's. 1. Reduce. 2. Reuse. 3. Recycle.
A peat in a glass jar. Now, burn a paper and put it inside the jar. Smoke will mix with water droplets inside the jar and it will turn into smoke. Burn a paper and put it inside the jar. Smoke will mix with water droplets inside the jar and it will turn into smoke.
مع الله عند
هزيم الرعود
المطر.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to AIEx 2022. Well, we gathered some facts about greenhouse effect, and guess what? I am so grateful for everything. Do you want to know what is greenhouse effect? I will tell you. Some of infrared radiation from sun passes through atmosphere, but moisture absorbed and re-emitted in all directions by greenhouse gas molecules and clouds. This makes the Earth's surface warm and the lower atmosphere.
I'm sure you have good knowledge about the temperature. By the way, why does the temperature drop in such areas?
Temperature drops due to vegetation and forest. Temperature near forest areas will be lowest, and gradually, if we will go further from it, it will start rising. This is because of greenhouse effect.
How does greenhouse work?
A greenhouse uses glass and plastic sheet to allow light rays from the sun to enter the structure. They are absorbed by the plants and then converted to heat. When the plants release the heat energy, it is trapped by the plastic sheet and the greenhouse stays warm.
How are greenhouse gases affecting the Earth's atmosphere?
Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere result from infrared radiation and re-reflected back to Earth. This causes greenhouse effect and results in an increase in average means of temperatures on Earth.
That's why tourists enjoy visiting such places, as it's not only cool but also a sight to watch. Greenery is soothing for the soul and helps in reducing global warming.
Fun fact, Venus is hotter than Mercury because it has a much more thicker atmosphere. The heat the atmosphere traps is called greenhouse effect.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أمن خلق السماوات والأرض وأنزل لكم من السماء فأنبتنا به حدائق ذات بهجة ما كان لكم أن تنبتوا شجرها أإله مع الله بل هم قوم يعدلون. Translation, more precisely, is He not the best who created the earth and the heaven and sent down for you rain from the sky, causing to grow, and thereby guidance of joyful beauty, which you could not otherwise have grown the trees thereof? Is there a deity with Allah? No, but there are some people who ascribe equal to Him.
I hope you understood about greenhouse effect and enjoyed the presentation. Jazakallah for visiting us.
والله في لألآت النجوم وحك الغيوم وضوء القمر مع الله عند هزيم الرعود ولمع البروق ودفق المطر.
مع الله في
Welcome to our vintage villa. Our project team is based well. We are going to share wonderful ideas to create awareness regarding how we can manage our waste wisely. We can manage our waste either by recycling or upcycling different old stuff. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us in Quran, Surah Al-A'raf. يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. O children of Adam, wear your beautiful apparel at every time near place of wear. Eat and drink, but waste not by excess, for Allah loveth not the wasters.
You must be thinking, why should we recycle? It takes too much effort and energy to recycle or upcycle waste. Why not buy a new one? Well, let me share some facts with you. Recycling a single plastic bottle will save enough energy to power a light bulb for 3 hours or more. Recycling 5 plastic bottles will create enough insulating fiber to fill a ski jet. It takes 70% less energy to recycle paper than it does to make it look from raw material. Reusing and repairing things instead of always buying new is not a sign of poverty, it is a sign of power.
That reminds me of the election of our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You know, our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to repair his own boots, sew his own clothes, and carry all the household chores without a complaint or want for more. We also have some personal benefits in upcycling too. 1. Nothing makes a warm and fuzzy video get once you're inside, and it does something great for the planet. 2. Repairing an item and giving it a new life is a great skill and a wonderful feeling. 3. Whether you bought something from a designer or upcycle something yourself, it's always nice to rely on something completely unique.
The environmental benefits of upcycling are mammoth. Aside from minimizing the volume of waste and discarded material being sent to landfill each year, it also reduces the need for production using new raw material, which means the reduction in air pollution, water pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, and often a conservation of global resources.
So by upcycling, we actually have saved material from landfill and made very good stuff from our stuff. Plenty of items that were once and would have been upcycled by using our creative ideas. Now we don't have to buy new things, rather we try to recycle and upcycle existing more available, avoid throwing things away. Did you know that it takes 2,700 liters to produce cotton to make a single t-shirt?
Same goes for the benefits and importance of waste recycling. Recycling is used to help protect the environment, as the recyclable waste materials are burned and end up in the landfill. The pollution of land, water, soil, and air are decreased. Recycling considers natural resources. Recycling of the more waste means we don't depend on the raw resources which are massively depleted.
And the other benefits are recycling saves energy. It takes much more energy to generate products with raw material than recycling used material. This means we save energy and the prices of items can be lower. Recycling and composting more than 85 lakh tons of material solid waste can save more than 1.3 quadrillion British thermal unit of energy, which is quite equivalent to more than 229 lakh barrels of oil. Recycling generates jobs. Many people are employed to sort, work and collect in recycling companies. Other people get jobs with businesses used to working with these recycling units. Waste products that can be recycled consist of paper waste. Paper-based products consist of newspapers, books, cardboard boxes, magazines, and envelopes. Plastic waste. Plastic-based products consist of water bottles, plastic bags, plastic wrappers, and rubber bands. Glass waste. All glass items that can be recycled include soda bottles, broken bottles, and jars for food. I hope you enjoyed our presentation and project. You should also start doing upcycling and recycling.
مع الله في الفلك.
Do you want to help the planet? Of course, everyone wants to help the planet, right? Do you recycle food? If not, we scraps. Not all trash is garbage. Plant scraps, fruits and vegetable scraps, paper and peels or other organic materials can be used to make compost.
Have you ever thought about where our leftover food goes after we put it in the trash? Or the consequences that this has for our planet?
Compost has many organisms like bacteria and small animals that develop and the waste from plant scraps into compost. These organisms breathe oxygen, so the compost needs air to help it decompose. For this, we have been hold to the side of the barrel to add air to the compost. This speeds up the process of breaking down the waste. We have used PVC pipes to make our compost mixing with. We have added a crank handle to the barrel so it is easy to turn when it's full of compost. The handle acts as a lever and helps in turning the barrel.
Compost tumbler is a simple machine that can be used to make compost. It is a mixture of vegetable and organic waste. We have used a recycled grain bag. We have also used 2x frames to support an axle that turns to the center of the bag. This allows the compost tumbler to spin and mix the compost in the center of the bag and resting on a frame. We have used nuts and bolts to attach hinges. These hinges allow us to open and close the latch to access the compost.
Composting is an eco-friendly alternative to throwing your food in landfills. In the landfills, the bacteria break down food scrap and other organic material in the absence of oxygen, which produces methane gas, a greenhouse gas, even with the greater capacity which results in global warming.
Composting is an eco-friendly alternative to discarding our food waste with 3 important advantages. First, composting allows food scraps to degrade in the presence of oxygen, meaning no methane gas is produced. Second, breaking down biodegradable materials to produce organic fertilizers, a sustainable alternative to synthetic fertilizers that requires a high amount of fossil fuel in order to be produced. Third, composting diverts waste from landfills, preserving natural ecosystems that would otherwise be cleared to landfills use. And the best part is that you can compost in your own backyard.
Preserve this compost and can earn a living by selling it out. Here are some bottles for sale. You can purchase them for your home, kitchen, gardens too.
I'm here to guide you how to grow a garden in a bottle using homemade compost. A bottle can be recycled to function as a miniature greenhouse. It is creative, easy, and fun to make. This can even make for a unique decoration and a way to keep your green thumb busy too. We can use plastic bottles to make something amazing out of them. We can repurpose those old plastic bottles which we usually throw away to grow our favorite plants, either indoor or outdoor, and help to save our environment. The used soft drink bottles can be recycled to function as a mini garden in our home. And our homemade compost will enhance its fertility and help us grow more and healthier plants. Allah says in the Quran, Surah Al-An'am, verse 141, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وهو الذي أنشأ جنات معروشات وغير معروشات والنخل والزرع مختلفا أكله والزيتون والرمان متشابها وغير متشابه كلوا من ثمره إذا أثمر وآتوا حقه يوم حصاده ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. It is he who has brought into being gardens, the cultivated and the wild, and date palms and fields with produce of all kinds, and olives and pomegranates, similar in kind and variegated. Eat of their fruit in season, but give the poor their due on harvest day. And do not waste, for God does not love the wasteful. Jazakallahu khairan kathira. Hope you have enjoyed it.
وحبك الغيوم وضوء القمر مع الله عند هزيم الرعود ولمع البروق ودفق
Assalamu alaikum. Have you ever heard about hydroponics? If not, today you'll be getting information about hydroponics. Hydroponics is a way to skip this one and substitute with a different material to support the roots of the plant and grow crops directly in from each wall. Grow home without soil. Hydroponics technique of growing food is actually revolutionary. It allows growers to produce anywhere in the world at any time of the year and to net higher yields with fewer resources. Grow anywhere using hydroponics, we can create hyper-local food systems. It's even possible to farm directly on this platform or to fresh produce.
Hi, plants growing well managed. Hydroponic system are living with good life. The roots are made and all the nutrients they need. Hydro plants mature up to 5% more quickly than the same plants grow in soil. It increases crop yield. Fewer resources. Hydroponic systems actually use less water than traditional soil-based systems. The water used in hydroponic systems can be filtered and is constantly being recycled instead of wasted. Indoor hydroponic plants don't need pesticides and potentially harmful chemicals as there is no soil, so there is no chance of insects' eggs being introduced. What you need? Fresh water with a pH level around 6 to 6.5. Oxygen. You will need to oxygenate your container, which you can accomplish by buying a mineral store or installing a hair pump. You also need root support even though you don't need soil. Plant roots generally need a little something to hold on to. Typical container systems feed moss, coconut fiber, and rock food.
Nutrients. Your plant is going to need plenty of magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, and other nutrients to stay healthy and productive. Just like plants growing in the ground need healthy soil and fertilizer. This purpose is served by providing nutrient water to plants.
Each type of plant has water for the amount of light. In this model, we are going to demonstrate how the hydroponic farming system works.
There's a liter source in the vessel, which takes the water to one of the fishes. Then water goes down into the ground into water without
It involves less resources and more yields. This growing system is going to revolutionize future agriculture and the increasing food requirements in China.
مع الله في
Here we will explain about Bermuda, the rain harvesting method and its importance. Yes, you heard it right. There are Bermuda roofs too, other than Bermuda triangles. This process is very simple. It simply involves collecting water from the surfaces on which rain falls, storing this water for later use.
Normally, water is collected from the roofs of buildings and stored in rainwater tanks. Rainwater harvesting is the simple process or technology used to conserve water by storing, collecting, and keeping that runs up from rooftops, parks, roads, and open grounds for later use.
Harvesting water can be used for drinking water after proper filtration. It can be used for long-term storage and other purposes such as groundwater recharge. There are few steps in water harvesting, and my fellow friend Maheen will explain them.
Bermuda roofs are built with Bermuda tiles through Landslide and a synthetic product called Durslade. These tiles are laid in a step fashion over a wooden frame with a stone gutter near the end of the roof with a funnel. The water then goes through a pipe and into a water storage, as you can see in the model. The rain gutter is tapped and runs along the front edge of the Bermuda roof, and it collects the rainwater, runs it from the rooftop to the garden. Did you know that gutter pipes come in different shapes and designs? For example, box gutter, fascia gutter, square gutter, and hardwood.
As you can see that the rainwater coming through the roof gutter is collected and diverted to a storage barrel through pipes. This rainwater can be stored in underground tanks or above current harvesting tanks. Now the water is stored in a tank. It can be used for different purposes such as gardening and farming. In rural areas, people use this water for dishwashing and laundry as well.
Did you know 60,000 gallons of water runs out from your roof, goes into the streets, streams, and then into the seawater? Do you know that rainwater harvesting is a practice of collecting and storing rainwater for a variety of different purposes? Rainwater harvesting differs from stormwater harvesting as water is collected from rooftops rather than drains or roads.
You are right. I am not going to drink this water. I do not want to get sick. But I am one who can benefit out of it. Well, rainwater harvesting provides the best possible alternative source of water
We're already exhausting water are depleting amid a growing population. The solution not only is domestic needs, but it also increases labor for women in rural areas. The method also helps mitigate flooding of low-lying areas and reduces demand for well water, ultimately resulting in groundwater reserves.
And another thing, in areas where clean water is costly or difficult to attain, rainwater can become a vital source of clean water. When a drought occurs, rainwater stored previously can be used. Lastly, owing to its cost effectiveness and eco-friendliness, rainwater harvesting is a widely applicable solution for developing countries facing poverty in their regions.
Water is one of the great blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذي نزل من السماء ماء بقدر فأنشرنا به بلدة ميتا كذلك تخرجون. And we send down the rain from the sky in measurements, and we revive thereby a dead land. Thus, when you be brought forth, spread the first land. Water is one of the sacred gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all of his beings. First, to Allah. Water is for common good things, justly and one of these our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, do not waste water even if you are running river of water.
Wow! Remember, if you intend to use this water for drinking or cooking, you must properly filter it, as this water may not be fit for human consumption. Innovations and new technology in the design of collection devices have greatly increased the efficiency with which rainwater is collected. Now, I will tell you some benefits of rainwater harvesting. Number 1. Rainwater harvesting helps with the water bill. Number 2. Rainwater harvesting promotes both energy and water conservation. Number 3. Because this roof is made out of limestone tiles, this roof is very strong, meaning that it is hurricane resistant. Number 4. The water collected by rainwater harvesting does not require filtration if intended to be used for landscape irrigation. We hope you learned something new from our presentation. Jazakallah khairan kaseeran. This is Landslide models. Landslide is the material on land surface as a slog and soil erosion upper layer. So this reason of land erosion mainly like rainfall, heavy wind, grazing, sickness. To decrease the effects of land erosion, we should plant vegetation. Planting trees is very important for our environment and if we will not take care of our water, it will actually cause food.
Now let me tell you a few fun facts about water cycle. A person is in the form of ice caps and glaciers. A wet person is the fresh water for our needs. And a person can live about a month without food and only 3 weeks without water.
فأسكناه في الأرض وإنا على ذهاب به لقادرون. And we send down water from the sky according to His will, and we cause it to soak in the soil, and we certainly are able to drain it off with ease.
Organisms and regulates weather patterns on planet Earth. So water is a blessing that needs to be utilized carefully and wisely. Jazakallah.
Faster, stronger, and
Let us tell you a few major methods of water preservation. Number 1, natural conservation.
Number 3, nutrient preservation. Number 4, maintenance. Number 5, no weeding required.
Are you wondering how to build a hydroponics garden? Building a hydroponics garden is not as complicated as many people think. Along with great benefits of having a hydroponic garden in your home, it can also help you save money on groceries. Wherever you live, like in a city or in a farm, anyone can use this method of farming because it does not need soil and can be done. Moving a alternatively channel into the hydroponic solution. Carefully control the chemical balance and influence in water by mostly adding water. Watch your plants grow for about 12 to 18 weeks.
Now I'm going to be telling you 6 different types of hydroponic systems that you can use, which include the following. Number 1, drip system. Number 2, water collection system. And number 3, every flow. Number 4, drip system. Number 5, new pump technology. And number 6, aeroponic system. Let's produce so many they don't care how much we are producing in their everyday life. So in the end, it's reasonable to say that hydroponics is a practical, easy, and effective way to grow various plants because it can be used in areas with different soil or frequent climate change. Using this method is also better for the environment as it has 95% of Did you know plants are now being grown in space using hydroponics? So what are you waiting for? Plant your own hydroponic garden today. Here's our IC.
وحك الغيوم وضوء القمر مع الله عند هزيم الرعود ولمع البروق ودفء المطر مع
Welcome to AlHuda International Islamic Exhibition 2020. Our project is based on the comparison between a normal and healthy lung and non-infectious condition. As we know, we have two lungs, each located on each side of our chest. They are one of the major organs of the respiratory system. Function of respiratory system is to inhale oxygen and exhale waste gases.
Air enters into our mouth and nose. Then the air passes through trachea into the left and right bronchi. From bronchi, it reaches ear sacs called alveoli through bronchioles. Oxygen moves across the walls of alveoli and is picked by the hemoglobin in the blood and carried to the rest of the body.
On the other hand, carbon dioxide passes from lung to the alveoli through the same passage of bronchi, trachea, and nose to the body. Air produces gas when certain gases, solid and liquid particles end up in our air. It can be by the dust of unpaved roads, construction sites, vehicle exhaust, power plants, cigarette smoke, burning of fossil fuels and wood.
Small dust particles, microbes, and prolonged exposure to poisonous materials and fumes can cause swelling, inflammation, and permanent breakdown of lung tissues, alveoli and bronchi, resulting asthma, pneumonia, cancer, and other lethal diseases.
Clean air is important to all of us. Improving our air quality will bring health. Investing in energy efficient power generation improves domestic, industry, and municipal waste management, and will compete cities with energy efficient buildings.
We should also reduce agricultural waste, forest fires and certain agroforestry activity. Universal access to clean and affordable foods and technologies to be provided for cooking, heating, and lighting. Cycle-friendly network needs to be introduced.
In the Quran, Allah says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna kulla shay'in khalaqnahu biqadar. Verily, all things we have created in proportion and measure. Allah has created everything on this earth with intricacy, making it completely perfect. This serves as a timely reminder to those who are shaping the perfect world created by Allah through their activities.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our organization. Our Taba is an outdoor restaurant concept. These are some raw from our organic brands. We focus on no chemicals, no hormones, let us be outdoor. This is our kitchen. We cook in wooden and clay pots. Old school utensils are noted to hold therapeutic benefits, whether you use them for cooking or to eat your meals. One small study confirmed that iron content of some foods improve when they are cooked in iron pots when compared to food cooked in non-stick pots. The coffee and furniture is iron-based. This means it can quicken down natural and return to nature without having a harmful impact on the environment. It is more important than ever to make a conscious effort to use biodegradable materials to make sure that we are the first to save the planet.
There are two methods of cultivate. As the name suggests, organic fertilizers come from organic sources such as animal-based plants. Chemical fertilizers come from organic sources such as animal-based plants. Chemical fertilizers are made with chemical processing methods.
Can we save? Can we talk about organic farming? Please start.
Can you tell us something about this? What is this? Food. So, there is something healthy food. You eat healthy food. What's your name? Mohammed Hassan. And what is your name? Nabia.
Can be controlled by the organism does not cause about smog, gardening, refrigerators and ventilation. Green roofs are a terrific idea to reduce heat inside rooms. Green vegetation on the roof is aesthetically appealing and of the storm water runoff. Rooftop garden assists in reducing and filtering polluted air. Green roofs provide good insulation, keeping the building cool in the summer and warm in the winter. This reduces facility of heating. Insulation helps to keep the desired temperature in the building. It acts as a barrier to heat loss and gain. Home insulation is essential for anyone who wants to keep the energy cost down and protect the planet. If you want to limit your carbon footprint, you have to think of eco-friendly home insulations options. These materials are primarily made of recycled materials. In comparison, materials like fiberglass may only contain up to 30% recycled material. Ventilation. The flow and renewal of air is important, both for health and to efficiency in home. It is advisable to install a controlled mechanical ventilation system to avoid energy. Isn't it interesting to know that people living in eco-homes are much healthier than others? Living in houses that use fewer chemicals in their construction for gases reduces asthma and other respiratory disorders. Choice of flooring like wood or red or black oxide is not only eco-friendly but health-friendly too. Unless messages similar or evaluation except shown here, the views is regarded and is responsible for discharges. The Imam, ruler of the people, is a guardian and is responsible for his subjects. The man is a guardian of his family household and is responsible for his subjects. A woman is a guardian of his children, of his household and of his children and is responsible for good. And the slave of a man is a guardian of his the slave of a man is a guardian of his property and is responsible for his affairs. So many is a guardian of his this contributes the use the evolution that frequents our environment and our
Welcome to our agriculture management project. Agriculture management is an occupation that involves the kind of food production. It has to provide raw material for food and other products in strong economies food trade. I am a partner. I grow crops in the field. I want to know how to people get food on their table. I use separated for plantation to get warm or agriculture. The 5 stages of agriculture: preparation, soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizer, irrigation, harvesting and storage. I'm a seed and I'm thrown into the ground. I help in early stages of growth and development in a plant. I am a seedling. I am a young plant grown from seed. I take 2 to 3 weeks to germinate. I need water, air, and sunlight to grow. I turn into tree with so many branches and leaves with 5 leaves gives you fruit and vegetables. There is among the Muslims who plant the tree, so a seed, then the plant, person or an animal eat from it. But Tadkade and charity they give for him. There are 3 major grows: cultivate, Pakistan. Let's have a look. I am rice, so there are carbohydrates, motivate, sauce. I'm used to make many dishes. Thanks for coming to the office. The Prophet ﷺ said, there is no deal that Allah has created, except that He also has created its evil. Plants have the capacity to ferment tea, and they are functioned against many diseases too. You will be amazed to know the advantages of indoor plants.
There are several advantages of aloe vera plant. It contains healthful plant compounds
It has antioxidant and antibacterial properties that speeds up the process of healing and reduces the plant.
It helps treat diseases like canker sores. Do you know what canker is? Canker sores is also called as enzymes are small cellular lesions that develop on the soft tissues in the mouth or at the base of your gums. It reduces constipation and also improves skin and prevents wrinkles.
Aloe vera are succulents, so they store water in their roots. It is important not to overwater them. Water the top few centimeters out. Compost to dry or between watering. Make sure you let the water drain away freely. Do not let the plant sit in the water as this may cause the root to rot. For example, if your plant is kept in 6 inches, allow the top 2 inches to dry out before watering again.
There are almost 7 types of snake plants. Many household plants are strategically placed for decoration. But did you know that some of these plants also have health benefits? The snake plant is one of those plants known for both looking good and improving air quality, in addition to provide a bit of ambience. Snake plants have a number of health benefits including it filters indoor air, removes toxic pollutants, may help boost mental health, is easy to take care of, and is effective against allergies.
Snake plant don't need much water, just water whenever the soil is dry. Make sure you let the water drain away fully. Don't let the plant sit in the water, as this may cause the roots to rot. Snake plant need very little water in winters.
Chinese evergreen. These in the plants are very easy to find in Pakistan and can tolerate very low light conditions. They are also a very good option if you just started out with indoor plants, but as a beginner they are very easy to take care of.
This also makes them the most popular houseplants to add greenery and nature to their space. Chinese evergreen is not really called a full sun, which means that is pretty much anywhere in your house. This plant thrives in moist soil to naturally water thoroughly and allow it to dry out before watering it again. Chinese evergreen will also produce beautiful pollutants and toxins to keep the air in your room fresh and
Environmental conservation is a religious duty as well as social obligation, not a exploitation of natural resources directly related to accountability. Exactly as Muslims, we have an obligation to act wisely. Do you want to play your role in these CO2 emissions at a personal level? But first, we will have to calculate how much we are contributing in greenhouse gases emissions. Do you know less use of car consumes 2.4 tons of carbon and one flat mass consumes 2.8 tons of carbon. Eating less meat will reduce carbon emission by at least a 10% annually.
Umran beloved.
From small beloved things like using chopping bags and turning out the lunch to more challenging high-tech lifestyle commitments like what we have eaten and how we travel. We all have been powered in our country on the Victorian in
See, just happen all of you. Okay, recite.
सर घर के मैं पूछा वो देखिए कौन सी दूसरी इससे कितने हैं और वहाँ पे okay let's start again Assalamualaikum. Welcome to Shade What You Own. What your steps are these your footprint agricultural crops on earth. Leave the footprint behind. दूसरे इतने गंदे जूते हैं देखिए रात के पास
आप सबकी वीडियो टीवी में आई अच्छे से शाबाश यस मानिया very nice yes koala good job yes Hashto
and teacher has to find that I want to cut them.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please stop this? I am actually getting my life is seriously threatened.
फ्रेम को आने थोड़ा सा आगे आने Thank you. Yes, Ibrahim, please come forward and say hello.
Please stop your cutting. I have to tell my plant.
Yes, that is your name.
Allah created a special specimen of animals and vegetables, and by destroying their natural habitat, we are destroying the ecosystem of our earth. Jazakallah. Please,
Abu Bakr Saudi Dano.
Fish is मेरा fish क्यों नहीं होता है fish क्यों नहीं हो रहा ओए fish क्यों नहीं हो रहा ये fish क्यों नहीं हो रहा
Excuse me, sir.
Good.
Okay, ma'am. What we will need to grow up now? Good job. Yes, Hadi. What we have to do? Hadi. Abdul Hadi. What we have to do with the plant? What? So tiny.
Now,
good job.
Landslide could be in 5 different ways. It might be in the form of
caused by various factors like heavy rain, deforestation, earthquakes, and volcanic eruption.
The effects of landslide are loss of life and properties, roadblocks, destruction of railway lines, the loss of fertile land or cultivation. It can also lead to the diversion of river water, which can cause floods as well.
If you experience heavy rainfall in your area, you could look to temporarily minimize the landslide by deploying sandbags or plastic sheeting and towels.
Landslide can quickly and easily happen in sloped area. One of the quickest and easiest way to prevent this is by planting vegetation. If you live in a landslide prone area or at the base of a hill, then this is your best chance for protection. Build a heavy brick retaining wall along the base of the slope. Hope this information is beneficial for you. Jazakallah for taking time out. My color is black. I live in the nest. I have the Raja plane to body ratio. It's even bigger than humans. I am a Peter. We are found in the sun colors, black, red, and white. We have a homing instincts that help us to find our way home from hundreds of miles. My name is Abhina. I am from Kazakh. Today me and my friends will be telling you drip irrigation system that has potential to save water and nutrients by allowing water to drip slowly to the roots of plants either from above the soil surface or below the surface. The goal of the system is to supply water directly to the root of any part of the plant. Now we will explain to you the hydroponic model. Let's Smog and Our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Do not waste water even you are at a street." Favorite
Vegetable. Assalamu alaikum. And here it is, it causes gardens to grow both fertilized and unfertilized, and palm trees and crops of different kinds of foods and olives and pomegranates, similar and dissimilar. Eat of each of its fruit when it yields, and give its due, which means zakah, on the day of its harvest, and be not excessive.
It is our pleasure to present our project One Favorite Crop. A one-favorite crop is referred to vegetables and herbal species harvesting. They can be grown in the backyard of a house or any available space in the home compound to meet the daily requirements of the family. Research suggests that today gardening can supply up to half of all non-staple proteins as well as a significant number of vitamins and minerals. Let me show you the plant which we grow. I started growing plants at home too, and it is great to be something which we grow with our own hands. Gardening comes with many different well documented health benefits. The most obvious of these has to do with the fact that a quantity of gardening is done outdoors. Exposure to the sun and light gives us vitamin D. Vitamin D is good for our knees, bones and muscles. Talking about muscles, gardening is a great exercise for muscles, like lifting huge balls and push-ups.
It's easy to start with your mind. Let me break these 3 steps. Decide on the location, determine the size of the garden and its layout. Assess the sun. Choose your path to clear the area. Carefully choose what to grow, get the right soil, prepare and clear the soil. Let season saplings, plant them properly. Plan the arrangement of the garden and the harvest of animals. Watch the food grow. Harvest your kitchen garden as the vegetable mature. Enjoy kitchen garden and keep learning. It will be fresh, healthy and nutritious, free of chemicals and health friendly too. As you know, what have we put on them? You know, gardening is a natural stress reliever. Cherry and tart easy and a cheap hobby.
To get most out of your garden, you should make plans early in the year and follow proper steps during the gardening season. So you will have an abundant supply of high quality vegetables at harvest and throughout the year. Did you know you don't need to be a dedicated composter to reap similar benefits? Call it cheating, but applying used coffee grounds, eggshells, chopped up banana peel and other organic matter directly to your soil can offer plants nutrients as they decompose. For already growing beds, scatter and bury the item within the first
of soil. Did you know that a little baking soda can help you grow sweeter tomatoes? A regular sprinkling of this little staple into your plant soil can help you reduce acidity, which sweetens up your crop. Carrots grow sweeter in the winters. Sugar acts as a natural antifreeze and lowers the freezing point of water. The potato, the first vegetable grown in outer space, it is 80% water. Radishes were paid as wages in the ancient Egyptian times.
There is a hadith about kitchen gardens. حدثنا قتيبة حدثنا أبو أوانة عن قتادة عن أنس عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ما من مسلم يغرس غرسا أو يزرع زرعا فيأكل منه الإنسان أو طير أو بهيمة إلا كانت له صدقة. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, no Muslim plants a plant or sows a crop, then a person or a bird or an animal can eat from it, except it will be charity. I hope you enjoyed and hopefully you start with your own kitchen garden from today. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Assalamu alaikum, respected guests. Welcome to AlHuda Islamic Exhibition. Our project of this year is Grow Today is an investment for tomorrow. As we know, fuel resources and gases, not only in Pakistan but in the whole world, are quite limited. Human beings are wasting them a lot. So our project is to save electric resources today so they can be benefited from tomorrow.
Our project is also for those people who cannot afford heated cylinders to heat up water. This is for those areas as well where gas facility is not available or the areas which usually face load shedding of gas.
So today we are going to heat up water using solar energy. For this we need first a solar panel, second a battery of 250 volts, third an inverter, fourth a kettle.
First, we need to set up solar panel correctly on a suitable angle based on latitude. After it is done, we will install a battery and an inverter which will convert solar energy into electrical energy to store it for rainy days. A 1000 watt kettle takes about 3 minutes to boil a half liter of water. It consumes around 50 watt hour of power. Watt hours are not same as watt, so don't get confused.
Now comes the battery start. Once started, it can be used even at night to boil the water and have a hot cup of coffee. We need to attach a plug which will be operated on solar energy turned into electrical energy. Now simply switch it on and your kettle is working on solar energy.
As said in Surah Ibrahim, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ دَائِبَيْنِ وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ. And He subjected for you the sun and the moon continuous. And He subjected for you the night and the day.
Allah has made everything for us. It is up to us to utilize these things to the best of their use. So that Allah with the seerah for giving us a precious time. Allah Hafiz.
Welcome to our 2022 AlHuda International Islamic Exhibition. Do you know how Muslims started using and making and using paper? Muslims encountered paper when Arab armies conquered Central Asia in 8th century. They instantly saw its practicality and a paper mill was set up in Baghdad. At the same time, paper spread to Persia, Syria, North Africa and finally to Spain in the 10th century.
The Arabs learned papermaking from the Chinese prisoners and built their first paper industry in Baghdad in 793 AD. They too kept it a secret and Europeans did not learn how to make paper until several centuries later. The Egyptians, however, learned the papermaking from the Arabs in the early 10th century.
The production of handmade paper is all the rage in South Asian countries such as India and Nepal. It is exquisite, different for its unique strength and durability, and most importantly, it's eco-friendly. This paper is made from a natural fiber and does not require the sacrifice of trees or the use of chemicals. Today we will show you how to make paper from already used paper.
If you water it in the main grinder with a hand mixer, which will lead to making your paper form. Now my friend will show you how to start.
I'll take some compost, put it into a tub of water. I'll mix it thoroughly. Now I will take the seeds and put it into our mixture. Now I will take it out and drain out all the water so that all the compost. Now I'm afraid to do the drying. Now we have to absorb the water from the bottom. When it's dried, when it's absorbed, we have to dry it in the hair dryer, or we can put it in front of the heater or in front of the sun. And it will be half dried, and we have to flip it, and we have to take it out, and it will be a common paper like this.
Papers made by classmates. Here are some calligraphies and some bookmarks. Welcome to our shop. Here is the most awaited paper set. You can find here the best of all items you need, like coated bookmarks and calligraphic paper badges. They are all handmade papers. You can keep it as a decoration. It will look very beautiful.
Looking at my store, there's something you can buy. There's some calligraphies and bookmarks. There's some bookmarks and calligraphy. They're so good. You can just take them for decoration. It will look so beautiful.
Assalamualaikum. Welcome to AIEx 2022. My name is Ummatis. Today I will tell you about Smog. Smog is a visible aerosol consisting of tiny water droplets or ice crystals suspended in the air or near the Earth's surface. Smog is air pollution that reduces visibility. The term smog was first used in the early 90s in the sky for mix of smoke and fog. Smoke usually came from burning coal. Smog was common in industrial areas and remains a familiar sight in big cities today. Thank you.
Why smog is called smog? The expression smog was first used in the 11th century. The name would describe a combination of smoke and fog.
Let me tell you some reasons why smog is formed. There are three reasons. First, using coal as a fuel. Second, new color and industrial investment have burning up agricultural material. So let's start with using coal as a fuel. The use of coal as a fuel is heating of the power produced plants. This carries high concentrations of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere. Burning coal also generates significant amounts of smoke, leads to smoky environments. Let's take
Vegetation, the eyes, the air, the nose, the nose, breathing, the ventilation, and lung damage.
The risk of developing rickets, the risk of road accidents, or even plane crash.
Let me submit my cable solution to smoke. Number 1, opting for testing. Number 2,
Assalamu alaikum. Today I will show you how smog is created. First you will take a pre-cooled glass jar. You will burn a paper and put it inside the glass jar. Smoke will mix with the water droplets inside the glass jar and it will turn into smog. Smog can damage our lungs and can also damage our lungs very badly.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm welcome to grade 4A. My name is Islamabad and we're from the working model of acid rain, which is one of the consequences of air pollution. Now we will tell you what is
acid rain? Acid rain is a form of air pollution. When coal and petroleum are burnt in automobiles, electric power plants, and factories, they release certain harmful gases into the air. These gases combine with oxygen and water in the air. When the water in the air comes down as rain, it carries in with these agent gases in the form of acid. This is known as acid rains.
Now let's find out what causes acid rain. Power plants that release the majority of sulfur dioxide and much of the nitrogen oxide when they burn fossil fuels such as coal to produce electricity. Calcium carbonate react with hydrochloric acid to form calcium carbonate, water and carbon dioxide. Acid turn litmus paper into brown. Similarly, in acid rain, when nitrogen dioxide reacts with water to produce nitric acid, acid turns litmus paper into brown.
In addition, the exhaust from cars, trucks, and buses releases nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide into the air. These pollutants cause acid rain. Acid rain is very damaging to all life forms. It can flood the rivers and streams, killing the fish and other organisms living there. Acid rain also damages various kinds of vegetation, including plants, crops, and trees. Acid rain flows or wears away surfaces of buildings and the structures. An excellent way to prevent acid rain is to stop using non-renewable fuels and switch to renewable source of energy such as solar, wind, and water energy. As the technology for these alternative energies increases, they'll become more accessible to the public.
And Allah has sent down rain from the sky and given life hereby to the earth after its likeness. Indeed, that is a sign for people who listen to Quran's teachings. But Allah talks about how He creates life through water and sustains by streams, the rains, rivers, and oceans that are meant for so many. Allah here has the analogy of life and that for Muslims to recognize the value of water, reminding us to provide clean water for all. Our aim is to educate and create awareness of acid rain, its cause, effects, and solutions. Especially as Muslims, we have to utilize our earth responsibly for our own benefits, honestly maintain and preserve it, use it considerately and moderately, and pass it to our future generations in an excellent condition. Thank you for joining us for
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to 3F. My name is Mohammed. Today I show you the feature of human sustainability. As you know, there are many environmental about rights and sustainability. Living style, including the feature of home design. What's special of Earthship is that all considered aspects of green trend, from using recycled type for painting walls and old glass bottle and tin cans for interior partition. These recycle and regrade soil material create thermal mass, naturally regulating the internal temperature of the without conventional heating and cooling technology. Oftentimes, these structures are built partly into the ground and sometimes underground further regulate their internal temperature. These homes are also passive solar structures. This means that they utilize as much energy and heat from the sun as possible without using electrical mechanisms. This is typically done by south-facing wall completely off, letting in as much light and heat as possible. Solar panels and wind turbines are installed on or around the structure to charge the batteries inside the module of the home, generating electricity. Water is used to the full and collected directly from the solar environment. A collection system directs all the water from the roof into a cistern where it is fed into a water organization module referred to as a home. The homes have to filter and clean the water after it is suitable for use the water. First use for washing, bathing and laundry. This use grey water is then filtered and used again to flush toilet and plants. Toilet water then goes to the using tank which was every dog will go down there 4 times outside without taking water from the ground. Now you must remember the idea of Earthship originated from. Earthship first came to be in the 1970s during the energy crisis. Architect Mike Daniels designed his first Earthship to create a home that was sustainable.
sustainable, self-sufficient, and accessible for anyone who will from local and recycled materials. I hope that the project has inspired you to build something out of scrap materials, and its purpose is to reduce the amount of waste materials that are harmful for our environment, especially as Muslims. We have to utilize the earth responsibly for our benefit. Honestly maintain and preserve it, use it concentratively and moderately, and pass it on to future generations in an excellent condition. This includes the appreciation of its beauty and handing it over in a way that relies on the greatness of Allah. Islam calls for the efficient use of natural resources in which minerals is simple. Allah says in the Quran, eat and drink, but waste not by excess, left from the excesses. We are from grade 4G and we welcome you to the project display to share some facts about given green grids. What does green grids mean? Green grids simply mean grilling equipment that is fuel efficient and durable, and those that can be used for renewable energy such as solar panels. You may also consider electric grills or natural gas.
Avoid petroleum-based lighter fuels and self-lighting charcoal. These release petrochemicals into the atmosphere. Instead, use solar panel-based grills.
Switch to natural gas. You can also use a natural gas option in grills because natural gas is the cleanest fossil fuel and burns much cleaner than coal fuels.
Clean your grill regularly because grease and food particles on your grill will produce unnecessary smoke.
Trim excess fat from it. It will not only make your grilling healthy and reduce fails, but also reduce the release of harmful chemicals in the air. Avoid disposable dishes and utensils for next cookout. A few minutes washing dishes is better than a pile of paper plates or plastic forks in the garbage. Buy fresh fruit and vegetables. Try to value green yard after all that stuff from stores.
We all want to have a cup of tea, coffee, or juice after cleaning. We must have a fresh milk or juice instead of Tetra Pak sodas, so we can make our grill a healthy grill.
While winding up, make sure to clean the area. Use remains of food as natural fertilizer. Throw or mix it in the soil. Use paper bags instead of plastic bags.
Welcome to AIEx 2022. Well, we gathered some facts about greenhouse effect, and guess what? I'm so grateful for everything. Do you want to know about greenhouse effect? Let me tell you. Some of the infrared radiation from the sun passes through the atmosphere, but most are absorbed and re-emitted in all directions by greenhouse gas molecules and clouds. This forms the Earth's surface and the lower atmosphere. I am sure you have good knowledge about the temperature. By the way, why does the temperature drop in such an area?
Temperature drop due to vegetation and forest. Temperature near forest area will be lowest and gradually, if you go further away, it will start rising. This is because of the greenhouse effect. How does greenhouse work?
Greenhouse uses glass or plastic sheeting to allow light rays from the sun to the structure where they are absorbed by the plants and then converted to the heat. How greenhouse gases are when the plant How greenhouse gases are affected the Earth's atmosphere?
Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere absorb some infrared radiation and reflect it back to Earth. This causes the greenhouse effect and results in average mean temperature on Earth.
That's why tourists enjoy visiting such places, as it's not only cool but also a sight to watch. Greenery is soothing for the soul and also helps in reducing global warming.
Fun fact, do you know Venus is hotter than Mercury because it has much more thicker atmosphere. The heat the atmosphere traps is called greenhouse effect.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أمن خلق السماوات والأرض وأنزل لكم من السماء ماء فأنزلنا به حدائق ذات بهجة ما كان لكم أن تنبتوا شجرها أإله مع الله بل هم قوم يعدلون.
More precisely, is he not the best who created the heavens and earth, and set down for you rain from the sky, causing to grow thereby gardens of joyful beauty which you could not have known otherwise? Is there a deity with Allah? No, the but there are people who ascribe evil to him.
Jazakallah for visiting us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to AlHuda International Islamic Exhibition 2022. Our project is based on the comparison between a normal and healthy lung with the lungs affected by pollution. As we know, we have two lungs, each located on each side of our chest. They are one of the major organs of the respiratory system. The function of respiratory system is to inhale oxygen and to exhale waste gas.
Air enters into our mouth and nose, and then the air passes through trachea into the left and right bronchi. From bronchi, it reaches air sacs called alveoli through bronchioles. Oxygen moves across the walls of alveoli and is picked by the hemoglobin in the blood and carried to the rest of the body.
On the other hand, carbon dioxide passes from here to the alveoli and through the same passage of bronchi, trachea, and nose blown out of the body.
Air pollution is caused when certain gases, solid and liquid particles end up in our air. It can be by the dust of unpaved roads, construction sites, vehicle exhaust, power plants, burning of fossil fuels, wood, and cigarette smoke.
Small dust particles, microbes, and normal exposure to viruses, bacteria, and fumes can cause swelling, inflammation, and permanent breakdown of lungs tissues. Alveoli are blocked, resulting in asthma, pneumonia, cancer, and other diseases.
Clean air is important to our office, improving our air quality, maintaining health. Investing in energy efficient power generation, improve domestic industry and municipal waste management, and make green and more compact cities with energy efficient buildings.
We should also reduce agricultural waste, forest fires, and other certain agroforestry activities. Universal access to clean and affordable fueling technologies to be provided for cooking, heating, and lighting. Cycle-friendly network needs to be introduced.
In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna kulla shay'in khalaqnahu biqadar. Verily, all things we have created in proportion and measure. Allah has created everything on this earth with intricacy, making it completely perfect. This serves as a timely reminder to those who are changing the perfect world created by Allah through their activities.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the world of hydroponics. The word hydroponics comes from the Greek hydro, meaning water, and phonos, meaning neighbor. This method of gardening does not use soil. The things needed to grow these plants are light, air, water, nutrients, heat, and space. Hydroponics growing can be done outdoors or indoors. In both the settings, the plant only 5 to 6 hours of light per day, access to electricity, and an area which is level and without excessive wind.
Let's see what is the history of hydroponics. The earliest examples of hydroponics dates back to the hanging gardens of Babylon and the floating gardens of Aztec and China. People used these techniques thousands of years ago. However, modern technology has enabled us to grow plants faster, stronger, and healthier. Plants that are grown using hydroponics do not need to form extensive root systems, as they can dedicate more energy to their foliage, flowers, and fruits. Did you know yields and crops from hydroponic plants can be up to 75% larger than those of plants grown in soil?
Let us tell you some few major benefits of hydroponic. Number 1. Water preservation. In conventional irrigation system, hardly 10% or even less water is utilized by the plants. Rest of it evaporates or drains away, and when this happens, the plant loses nutrients and more fertilizer is required. Number 2. Natural conservation. For example, preserving soil for fertility, arrangement, and controlling weeds. Hydroponic farmers do not sustain the soil.
Benefit number 3. Nutrients preservation. When plants are grown in soil, the nutrients that have not yet been utilized by plants finish up underground and create rivers and lakes. Benefit number 4. Maintenance. Hydroponics can supply a sustainable answer for cultivators with hard soil and climate circumstances. Growing fruits and growing crops locally with the use of hydroponics is more maintainable than depending on
The water cycle is an extremely important
water organic production.
The hydroponics garden. Building a hydroponics garden is not as complicated as many people believe. Along with great benefits of having a hydroponics garden, it also helps you save money on groceries.
Wherever you live, like in a big city or in a farm, anyone can use this method of farming because it does not need soil and it can be done indoors. Now let me tell you the step-by-step instructions. Now the first thing you have to do before starting a hydroponics garden is to decide which plant or vegetable you want to produce and the quantity of it. Calculate the size of the area you will use. Uniformly mark and space 4-inch holes for the 4-inch pots to be placed in. For the first 3-4 weeks and hot climates, shade cloth is helpful if used under these conditions. Then make up a hydroponic solution of fertilizers and water to a strength of an average 20 to 24 cf with an end pH of 5.5 to 6.5. Plant yourself raised or pot seedlings by taking seedlings out of their pots and washing away most of the soil from their roots.
Place clean seeds in a growing medium, be it perlite, rock wool, earthen blocks, or NFT channeling into the hydroponics solution. Carefully control the chemical balance of the nutrients in the water by adding mostly water and watch your plants grow for 12 to 18 weeks.
There are 6 separate types of hydroponic system that you can use. Number 1, wick system. With the majority of wick system, the plants are placed directly within an absorbent substance like perlite or vermiculite. Nylon wicks are positioned around the plants before being sent straight down into the nutrient solution. Number 2, deep water system. This system is another highly simplistic type of hydroponic system that places the roots of the plants directly into the nutrient solution. Number 3, ebb and flow. With this type of system as shown here, the plants are placed in a spacious grow bed that is packed with a growing medium like rock wool or perlite. Once the plants are carefully planted, the grow bed will be flooded with a nutrient-rich solution until the water reaches a couple of inches below the top layer of the growing medium, which ensures that the solution doesn't overflow.
Number 4, drip system. The nutrient solution that's used for the drip system is pumped into a tube that sends the solution straight to the plant base. At the end of each tube is a drip emitter that controls how much solution is being placed into the plant. You can adjust the flow to meet the needs of each individual plant. NFT, nutrient film technique. In this system, the nutrient solution is placed in a large reservoir. From here, the solution is pumped into small channels that allow the excess nutrients to flow back into the reservoir. Number 6, aeroponics. With this type of system, the plants you wish to grow will be suspended in the air. A couple of mist nozzles will be positioned below the plants. Those mist nozzles will spray the nutrient solution onto the roots of each plant. This method has been proven to be a very effective hydroponic method.
SubhanAllah, Allah provided so many things for us, as it is mentioned in the Quran. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَمْ أَنبَتْنَا فِيهَا الزَّرْعَ وَالنَّخْلَ did not get the earth once fall down from there and through the earth. So in the end, this reasoning of the hydroponics is practical, easy, and effective way to grow because it can be used in areas with infertile soil or frequent. We should take care of hydroponics is also good for the environment as it is not to harmless Did you know few plants are now grown in spaces in hydroponics? So what are you waiting for? Have your own hydroponic garden today.
Welcome you on to AIEx. It is a great honor to be participating to demonstrate our concept of water cycle. This is a water cycle model. Water cycle is a process that is actually continuous flow of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth. The process is evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. The first process is evaporation. Evaporation is the process that changes liquid water into water vapor. Due to the heat, water moves from the surface of the earth to the atmosphere.
Let me tell you how clouds are formed. Actually, the process of condensation forms the cloud. Condensation happens when water collects as droplets on a cold surface. Condensation is the opposite of the evaporation process. When we turn on a car engine at a very low temperature, the vapors inside the car condense and droplets come.
Let's talk about rain. Scientifically, we use the term precipitation. Precipitation is a process in which water falls down from the atmosphere to the earth's surface. Precipitation is rain, snow, sleet, or hail.
Water cycle is also known as the hydrologic cycle.
It is the continuous movement of water. We should take care of our resources and use them wisely. If we will not take care or save water, it will eventually cause flooding.
Now let me tell you what is land erosion. This is a land eroded model. Land erosion happens when material on land surface is dislodged and moved. Soil erosion is a stripping of the upper layer of the soil. This reason of land erosion can be mainly like heavy rainfall, heavy winds, grazing, etc. To decrease the effects of land erosion, we should plant vegetation there. You see, planting trees are very important.
I will tell you fun facts about water cycle. 97% of the world water is salty and undrinkable. 2% is in the form of ice. I will tell you fun facts about water cycle. 97% of the world water is salty and undrinkable. 2% is in the form of ice caps and glaciers. Only 1% is fresh for our needs. A person can live about a month without food, but only for a week without water.
Now I will tell you what the Quran says about the movement of water. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأنزلنا من السماء ماء بقدر فأسكناه في الأرض وإنا على ذهاب به لقادرون. And we send down water from the sky according to due measure and we cause it to soak in the soil. And we certainly are able to drain it off in ease.
The water cycle is an extremely important process because it enables the availability of water for all living organisms and regulates whether water is available. So, water is a blessing that is used carefully and wisely.
The first thing I have to do is start a garden. Assalamualaikum and welcome to AIEx 2022. Do you want to help the planet? Well, of course, everyone wants to help the planet. Do you recycle food? If not, so we will tell you how to keep garbage out. Not all precious garbage, plant scraps, fruits and vegetable scraps and peels, paper or other organic materials can be used to make compost.
Have you ever thought about where leftover food goes after you throw it? It in the trash or the consequences that this has for our planet.
Bacteria and small animals that help turn the vegetables and plants start into compost. These organisms breathe oxygen, so the compost needs air to help it decompose. We have drilled holes inside of the barrel so the compost needs air to help it decompose. This speeds up the process of breaking down the waste. We have used PVC pipes to make our compost mixing bin. We have added a crank handle to the barrel so it is easier to turn when it is full of compost. The handle acts as a lever and helps in turning the barrel.
Compost tumbler is a simple machine that can be used to make compost. It is a mixture of vegetable and organic waste. We have used the recycled rain barrel. We have also used two X-ray pieces upon an axle that turns to the center of the barrel. This allows the compost tumbler to spin and mix the compost. We have used PVC pipe for the axle. The axle is running throughout the center of the barrel and resting on the frame. For this, we have used nuts and bolts to attach hinges. These hinges allow us to open and close the latch to access the compost.
Composting is an eco-friendly alternative to throwing your food in landfills. In landfills, bacteria break down, film scrap and other organic materials in the absence of the oxygen which produces methane gas, a greenhouse gas even with a greater capacity which results in the global warming compared to the earth.
Composting is an eco-friendly alternative to discarding our food waste with three important advantages. First, composting allows food scrap to degrade in the presence of oxygen, meaning no methane is produced. Second, breaking down biodegradable materials to produce organic fertilizer. A sustainable alternative to synthetic fertilizers that require a high amount of fossil fuels, preserving natural ecosystems that would otherwise be cleared for landfill use. And the best part is that you can compost in your own backyard.
Compost organic and remains by selling this out.
Here are some bottles for sale. You can purchase it for your home, kitchen, gardens too.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. I am here to guide you how to grow a garden in a bottle using homemade compost. A bottle can be recycled to function as a miniature greenhouse. It is creative, easy, and fun to make. We can use plastic bottles to make something amazing out of them. We can repurpose those old plastic bottles which we usually throw away to grow our favorite plants, either indoor or outdoor, and help to save our environment. The use of PET bottles can be recycled to function as a mini garden in our home. And our homemade compost will enhance its fertility and help us grow more and healthier plants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, Surah Al-An'am, verse number 131, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وهو الذي أنشأ جنات معروشات وغير معروشات والنخل والزرع مختلفا أكله والزيتون والرمان متشابها وغير متشابه كلوا من ثمره إذا أثمر وآتوا حقه يوم حصاده ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. It is he who is born into being gardens, the cultivated and the wild, in date palms and fields with produces of all kinds, in olives and pomegranates, similar in kind and very good. Eat of their fruit in season, but give them forth their due on harvest day, and do not waste, for God does not love the wish. Jazakallahu khairan, hope you have been.
مع الله في لألآت النجوم وحك الغيوم وضوء القمر.